Hello again, beautiful beings of light. Welcome back to another live Monday broadcast for all of your splendid downloads from the universe. I should have brought Gracie and Grayson up here, but I guess they're hanging in the background for today. First of all, how are you guys? I mean, it's been kind of intense. 7 planets in, I guess, 7 planets in one position in Aquarius. I've been feeling the intensity. The fog for me kind of lifted this past Saturday, so I've been feeling much better since then. And of course, journaling and yoga and taking walks and meditating and eating good food has all really helped the progression of the heavy energy. So I said it before, but I'll say it again. If you feel stuck, if you feel triggered, you're not alone. Surrender to it. The worst thing you can do in this moment is to react. So hopefully you guys are feeling good. Okay. And what else? So we're going to talk all about relationships today. I've got some really exciting announcements that are going to be happening within a relationship sphere and relationship dynamic, and even in your single dynamic for 2021. 2021 is a huge year where there's a lot shifting within relationships. So just keep that in mind as we move along. We're going to be talking about the single people, and we're going to be talking about those who are in longer term committed relationships and how 2021 is going to shift where you are at this time. I do want to put a disclaimer out there and say that this is pretty much like a general overview for the majority of the starseeds, the population out there. So this may not resonate with you because maybe you're an outlier and you're just in a different place, and that is totally okay too. All right. Before we deep dive, make sure you share this video. This is definitely one that you want to share with any friend, any family member. We're not going to get into aliens today or any sort of crazy spiritual belief. We are just talking about relationships, but it's going to bring profound awareness to you. So please share this video, give it a thumbs up, give it a like, as long as you like it. And yeah, and make sure you subscribe if you haven't subscribed, or check out the membership channel if you haven't already explored the membership. So check that out. Thank you, Angelo, as always, for that really generous super chat, and Kristen as well for that super chat. If you guys resonate, super chats are appreciated. If not, you just being here is enough, and I really appreciate that too. Okay, couple of notes. First of all, I don't believe in twin flames. I know, right? Oh my goodness, who am I to not believe in twin flames? It's funny because I think the last time I made that statement, I was wearing this hat exactly. I don't know how familiar you guys are on my videos, but you know, just a funny recall that happened. I don't believe in twin flames, not necessarily in the way that I don't believe in the concept. I have seen the division of a soul and then the reunion of a soul. Okay, so the twin flame concept, let's just say I believe in, but ultimately the wording of a twin flame I don't believe in, right? So the example is, for example, God, right? I believe in a higher source. I just don't believe in the term God. The reason why I don't believe in the term God, or I don't believe in the term twin flame, is because we have a tendency to completely disempower ourselves within that terminology. I've met my twin flame. Oh my God, life is amazing. And then, oh no, I broke up with my twin flame. It amplifies whatever energy you're in that moment. And it definitely leads to giving our power away to that person because we're so amped on believing they are the other half of ourselves. I don't use those terminologies because there's so much projection and attachment involved in those terminologies. So hopefully you can maybe agree with that, or at least be open-minded to that. Second thing I want to mention is The term soulmate, right? I mean, I put it in the title of this video, but I do want to just clarify that when I started to explore past lifetimes, I started to realize that strangers on the street that I've never met before is technically a soulmate for me, because we've been in past lifetimes, we've been connected before. Our souls have been connected before. This is another term, not as intense as twin flame, but still pretty intense. I believe my best friend is my soulmate. I believe my dog is my soulmate. I believe the plant beside me is my soulmate, okay? So I use these terms very loosely, maybe in comparison to like a love coach, all right? So just kind of letting you guys know where my perception is at so that we're all on the same page with the terminology and what I'm about to get into. Last but not least, today I was in the shower and I had a funny realization, and it was in regards to queer relationships. So let's just call them, for the sake of ease, straight relationships versus queer relationships. And I use queer in a very open-minded, not in a derogatory or not so great way, okay? I use queer because I'm talking about the whole LGBTQ plus community and those kind of relationships. Now for me, just as an observation, I've been on both sides of the coin, all right? I was basically straight, and I use that in quotations, up until 26 years old, always in male relationships. I've been with male partners who were much more metrosexual and feminine, and I've also had male partners who were very divine masculine and alpha. And then, of course, being with a woman for the first time, being with my wife, today is very different. One of the things that I noticed, okay, now take it or leave it, this is just my opinion, is that straight relationships are much more difficult to navigate, especially as a starseed. And I'm going to repeat that. Straight relationships are much more difficult to navigate, especially as a starseed. Now, we're not talking about discrimination. We're not talking about projection. We're not talking about difficulties that queer people have in coming out and being accepted. We're just talking about the foundations and fundamentals within the relationship itself. What I found is when I was in a straight relationship, okay, with a male, all right, there was a certain paradigm, there was a certain pattern, there was a certain program that we fell into. Well, I'm the female, so I'm going to cook and clean, and you're the male, so you're going to be the provider, and this is the way that sex is going to look, and this is what's going to happen here. And all of a sudden, when the man isn't doing what the man is supposed to do in the relationship, there's some sort of issue. Straight relationships have to battle societal projections of what it means to be in a heterosexual monogamous relationship. And that's heavy. Like the weight of that paradigm, the weight of that programming and patterning is heavy. When I first started my relationship with my wife, I was like, okay, cool. So who's the man and who's the woman and how do we do this and how does this work and what's the norm here? What kind of pattern am I aligning myself to? And she says, oh, it's whatever we make it. And in that way, I felt so liberated in all of the ways, in our daily tasks, in how we take care of each other, even in our sex life. It's like it never has to be rooted or normal. And there's liberation within that. And I just wanted to make that statement because that's what I've observed. I never observed that when I was in a straight relationship. I never thought that I was conforming to societal projections. I was just in it. All right, so it's just something to think about, whether you're in a queer, fluid relationship or you're in a straight monogamous relationship, just things to keep in mind. That's just my observation of it all right? And thank you so much, Susan, for that incredible super chat. Very, very generous, Susan and Angelo. Thank you. So let's talk about 2021. Let's talk about 2021 with romantic relationships. I want to first ask all of you, Okay, are you single or are you in a relationship? If you're single, how long have you been single? If you're in a relationship, how long have you been in a relationship for? I just kind of want to gauge the audience just in this live moment. And then, of course, afterwards, you can answer all these things in the comments below. So let's take a look here. Married, 20 years. Nice, Holly. All right, relationship for 9 years. Yeah, Lauren, single for 4 years. Madison, single for a year. Micah, let's see. Okay, Crystal, married, relationship 20 years. That's nice. Married, going on 8 years. Okay, single, JJ, in relationship with myself. I love that. Married 31 years. Married 6. Cool. Yeah, married 3. All right, a lot of married. Okay, cool. Relationship, single. All right, some singles. Yeah, cool. Awesome. Single forever for a while. Awesome, guys. All right. So 2021 is the year of relationship alignment. Whether you're single or you're in a relationship, your romantic status is going to be shifting this year. This is just what I've channeled. This is what's been coming through. Here we are still at the beginning of this year. It's important to bring these things up so that you know how to navigate. For the past 2 or 3 years, all of you have been shifting and aligning to be your true authentic self. Because you've been shifting and aligning, it's affecting your relationship. Maybe you're in a relationship and you guys have been butting heads because you're shifting and your partner is not. Maybe, hopefully, you're one of the lucky ones and you and your partner are watching this together right now, and that would be amazing, right? But it doesn't always work like that. The other thing to think about is if you're single, you've just been single and not ready to date, not ready to get out there because you've been working on yourself and aligning yourself to the highest vibration so that you can attract the partner that is aligned to that vibration. So all of us, no matter where you are right now, we've all been doing the inner work that we've been forced to do in order to align ourselves to a better relationship position. Let's just call it that. All right. So 2021 is finally the year of taking action within that relationship. By the end of 2021, my intention is that all of us are aligned in the highest way possible to the best potential reality and outcome for you. If being single is what you still need at the end of 2021 to really navigate and understand yourself and your own reflections, then continue to be single. There's nothing wrong with that. If you're single and you're feeling the push and the urge to align with a partner, then by the end of 2021, my intention is for you to align to that person. And likewise, if you're in a relationship and it hasn't been working, maybe there's a shift apart by the end of this year, and if it hasn't been working out, then maybe there's a shift together. And we're going to deep dive into all of those concepts because here we are kind of kicking off this beautiful relationship year. Okay, one thing that just kind of popped in was all relationships, no matter if they are romantic or friendships or family relationships, they are all just a mere reflection of who you are and where you're at in this now present moment. Any sort of disrupt or energy or imbalance within that relationship is just a reflection of where you're at within yourself. That's why all of these years leading up to 2021, you've been purging and figuring out and shifting and working on yourself. And then stepping into 2021, it's the action of the work that you've been doing. All right. So this is an action year of, whoa, I just learned all of these things and now it's time for me to apply it. All right. Okay. One more thing about 2021 that I want to mention, and then we'll talk about all you single people. Relationship portals are opening. This is what I have channeled. I think the last time major relationship portals were opening was back in 2016. Maybe it was 2017, I believe, somewhere around there. But basically what that means is that there's, I guess, giant energy portals that are in alignment to that soulmate, twin flame, other half, romantic vibration that are now starting to really open up so that a lot of starseeds can reconnect with an aspect of themselves that's going to help them in their progression. All right, so relationship portals are opening. I channeled that a couple months ago for 2021, and that's why I've been wanting to do a relationship video for quite some time. So let's talk about the single people, all of you out there. I first want to just mention my observation, which is a lot of starseeds recently in the past couple of years have chosen a path of being single so that you can best know and understand how to navigate the frequencies, the densities, the fear of the world on your own, so that when you step into that new relationship, you are empowered and aligned to the highest vibration possible, okay? So starseeds have been choosing at a conscious level to take a different path. A single path, basically. And what else did I want to mention about that? Oh yeah, there's also an emphasis on, were you single in 2020? Like, were you single during the year of 2020, during the year of lockdown? There is a very big emphasis and very big importance on, if you were single during 2020, then there was a lot of stuff that you went through, and you accelerated your growth by going through 2020 as single. There was a lot that you learned that you just wouldn't have been able to learn when navigating someone else's ego, projections, attachments, reality, and what have you. There's pros and cons to single and being in a relationship. They always equal out to be the same thing, but we choose different pathways for a reason. So just bring awareness and gratitude to the fact that you chose to go through one of the most isolating times of probably your entire life, and you chose your contracts to have that be a single time, all right, for growth and exploration. So just be aware of that. Recently, what I've been noticing is that a lot of single starseeds, I should have a dating app, single starseeds. A lot of single starseeds have been recently feeling the urge to reach out again, feeling the urge to get themselves back out there in like the dating scene, all right? When you feel the urge to reconnect with another individual, then it's a pretty good indication that your intuition is telling you, oh, it's time to act, right? It's time for that action. So really just listen. A lot of, friends, family members, clients even, who have been wanting to reach out, and they're like, I don't know why, like, I haven't been on any dates, and, I'm calling it in from the universe. And I said, so are you on any dating apps? And they said, no, I don't believe in that. I said, okay, cool. Well, how often do you go out? Like, how often do you get out of your house? Oh, well, I guess I get Instacart, so I never actually really leave, not even to get groceries. And I said, if you're asking the universe to give you someone, but you're not getting yourself out there and you're not being seen in any of the ways, then how can you expect someone to enter into your life without really putting any sort of action behind your current position? Because even in the grocery store, you could bump into someone accidentally and have that like meet cute or whatever it's called and find that person. But if you're not putting yourself out there, whether it be on a YouTube live chat, not saying like, hey, any single ladies, not like that. But what is your engagement like with the world? What is your interaction like with the world? You can't just be saying, I want a new job, but never actually applying, right? So as much as we can quantum leap into new timelines and manifest anything we want at the drop of a hat, there still needs to be the action associated with the intention that we have. So if you're single, I want you to ask you, if you're single and you want a relationship to manifest in 2021, then I want you to ask yourself, what kind of action steps am I taking to attract someone in a higher vibration? And also checking in and making sure that you're not over action stepping, which means that you're going on a date every other night, trying to find the one, and once again distracting yourself or disempowering yourself in the action. It's all a big balance, it's all a big game, but it's got to be kind of a balance of both. So I know a lot of you have been finally feeling that urge to come out of your cave and interact and meet someone else. There's a couple of issues that go along with that if you are single. You will be forced, most of you anyway, will be forced to revisit old energies. And let me ask you, even if you're in a relationship, has anyone recently been having dreams about exes, bringing up old thoughts of like, is he cheating on me? Have you been sinking back into limiting beliefs in relation to relationships, whether you're single or in a relationship? Right now, no matter what your status is on Facebook, all right, you are being forced to purge out any and all old limiting beliefs that you've had attached to relationships. All right, a lot of you. Okay, cool, good to see. Yes, the other thing too about revisiting old energies, if you're single and you've started to date recently, or maybe you were even dating at the end of 2020, you have probably noticed that you've been attracting, dating partners that are very similar to exes. It's like, whoa, like, why am I attracting the douchebag again? Or like, why am I attracting the alcoholic again? Or why am I revisiting this? I thought I dealt with it, okay? So that the revisiting can be an energetic revisiting. It can be a flashback. It can be a dream. Or it can be a physical revisiting of actually having to go through the motions, go out on a date, and have to say no. I will also mention, on kind of a different note, same thing, if you were disempowered in the past, if you were attached to a belief, if you had some sort of identity that you needed to prove to yourself in moment to moment, all of that old stuff is coming back. And we've all been forced to say no. Maybe it's a new business deal that's right there, but it's not enough, okay? We are all being forced to say no to settling. I want you to write that down. If you have a notebook right now, say no to settling, all right? We can no longer be saying yes to obligation, to settling, to, yeah, this is okay, right? I'm 35. This is the time to settle down. None of that is good, all right? None of that thinking, none of that rationalization is good. When you meet someone and it's like unconditional love, it's undoubtable. I don't think that's a word. It's undoubtable, all right? You can't doubt it. You can't question it. It just is what it is. If you're sitting there saying, well, I've been on like 10 dates this month and this guy's like the best one out of the group, if you find yourself making excuses and, considerations and compromises, stay away from it. Whether that be a business thing, a personal boundary thing, or a relationship, stay away from it. Stop settling in anything in life. This is definitely the time to stop doing that, all right? Healthy boundaries have been huge. Now, likewise, once again, I'm going to loosely attain this to single people who are looking for a romantic relationship and also people who are just dealing with family, personal issues, or even business and work issues, all right? A lot of us, while we're purging out and reassessing the old energy and frequency, we're also simultaneously, which is where it gets super confusing and overwhelming and anxiety-ridden, we are simultaneously stepping in to the new vibration, the new opportunities, the new energies, which, like I mentioned, we have to be able to say no to if they're not aligned to the highest frequency. And so what I've noticed is if you're single and you've been dating, you meet someone who's like, oh yeah, check, 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 check. 9 out of 10 things. That's like better than the most of the guys or girls that I date, right? 9 out of 10 things. It's fantastic. Let's just stay there. If it's not 10 out of 10, if it's not a resounding yes, if it's not firing off everything in your system, it's not good enough. And you deserve more than that. And I know that we don't also want to get stuck in like, the grass is always greener on the other side. But the second that you start to rationalize or even logically second guess whatever the decision is in your path right now, is the second you should realize in that moment it isn't aligned to the highest vibration. Because anything that is aligned to the highest vibration is always a resounding yes. There is never a doubt. Like when, Nat asked me right before this live, babe, do you want a coffee? Yes, I do. That it is that time in the day that I would love a coffee. That was a resounding yes, all right? So just be aware of your own doubts and limitations and allow the answers to come from the heart space rather than the head space. And that's something that I think we all really have to work on our entire lives. So just keep that in mind. What else? Okay, cool. So for all of you single people out there, if you want to write this down, this will help you attract 2 things. The first thing I'm going to say is it's going to help you attract the steps that are needed for you to get to the place where you've attracted the person that you're looking for. I will say that it was extremely difficult for me to find the words of this affirmation because I didn't want to limit it in any sort of way. I didn't want to use soulmate. I didn't want to use twin flame. I didn't want to use my other half. All of those aspects are so limiting. So the first affirmation I have here is it's for you to help guide you on the path to aligning you to the highest frequency. The second affirmation that I have here is to help you to attract the person that you've been waiting for. All right. You can change around the words to anything that feels right for you. These are just kind of a container for you to think about. All right. First affirmation is, I am ready to release anything else that is holding me back from true alignment. And I'll repeat that. I am ready to release anything else that is holding me back from true alignment. All right. The second affirmation is, I am ready to reunite with the highest reflection of myself. Really like that. I really like how that landed. I am ready to reunite with the highest reflection of myself. And of course, I'm talking about romantic relationships. And when you state that affirmation, you should be holding the intention of really bringing in that romantic partner without really labeling them anything except a reflection of yourself, which is what all relationships truly are. Okay? So once again, I do recommend that you make the first statement initially, because all of a sudden, all of these old limiting beliefs or attachments will come to the surface to help you and allow you release whatever else you need to release before attracting that person. Okay? Because we all want to be clear before stepping into a new relationship. So hopefully that helped out all of my single peeps out there. And hey, like I said, it's totally okay to Be single and own it, and know that you still have work to do, and know that you're not in a good place to attract. That's totally okay too. Okay. So let's talk long-term relationships. I consider a long-term relationship to be like 2+ years. I know a lot of you are like 6, 9, 10, 12, 20, which is kudos to you guys. That's incredible. Okay. So, oh my goodness. For all of you relationship junkies and long-term relationship people out there, like I said, if you and maybe I'll ask this, who in a relationship is watching this video right now with your partner? Comment in the chat and comment below. Who in a relationship is watching this without their partner because they just simply wouldn't get it? Comment. I'm really curious to see where you guys are at. I think that it's few and far between for couples to be watching this content together. But I also want to mention that it speaks volumes for the two of you to be on the same page with and resonating with these fundamental truths of the universe. Like, that is, just take a moment to appreciate and maybe hug and kiss your partner who's beside you, if that's the case, because it's quite rare to have that happen. So I think that that's really beautiful. Let's see where you guys are at. Married and watching alone. Okay. W Edge. Yep. He's not getting it. Without. My boyfriend and I are watching. Awesome, Addie. He is listening. Good. Chase. They wouldn't get it. Without partner. With. Okay. Awesome. Without my wife. Yep. Partner in the other room, watching with my baby. Okay. We've been together for 13 years. We're watching together. All right. Without partner. Okay. Cool. My husband doesn't get it. Without my partner. Okay, cool. So a little bit of both, but I would definitely say that it's more the watching alone, right? And I want to speak to this a little bit. Okay. Right now, within the past year, let's talk about the past year in being in a relationship. All right. If any of this resonates with you, feel free to chat and comment. Like, this is a safe space, and it's good to release that and be supported and be heard in a spiritual community when we can openly talk about where our partners are at and how much of a struggle that can be. So this past year, there's been a lot of fighting in general within long-term relationships. Now, if you're in a relationship that's under 2 years, you guys might still be in the honeymoon phase and you haven't really sunken into that long-term vibe, so maybe this doesn't apply to you. But in the past year, there's been a lot of fighting and bickering between partnerships. The only reason why there's been an increased amount of fighting is because everyone at an individual level is shifting their frequencies into a higher and more aligned vibration. If you're with a partner who doesn't get it, that a lot of you mentioned, you're going to be fighting, and your information, your vibration, your soul, your authenticity, your communication is simply going to fall on deaf ears. And that's going to be very frustrating. You're going to feel unseen and unheard, which is the same thing that you felt in lifetime after lifetime being a starseed on this planet, not being supported within your own soul. For those couples who are watching this video right now and this content together, then both of you have the capacity at least to recognize that you're not just bodies together, you are bodies and souls together. And you can actually help complete that balance within yourself by understanding, reflecting, and seeing that within your partner. There's a deeper connection is basically what I'm trying to say, because you recognize the soul aspect of one another. That's huge. That's everything. That's when you're having a really triggered week this past week and saying, all right, I'm so sorry, babe. I'm just really triggered and it's not your fault. And, nothing in this reality is making me feel this way. I just feel this way. And that's when your partner recognizes that your soul is going through a transition, and they can just hug you or talk to you or rub your feet or, do it at whatever it is, right? But support you in that soul capacity. That's huge. That is so huge. And for those of you who don't have that at this time, stay strong, because there's going to be one of two things that are going to take place in the next year. I can almost guarantee this. Now, I know that everyone's on their own individual journey, but what I've channeled for 2021 is that every relationship is going to shift by the end of 2021 to be in a higher and better vibration. And sometimes a relationship is in a better and higher vibration apart. The main intention is that by the end of 2021, you are standing in your power, you are asking for the frequency that you deserve within a romantic container and relationship. And if your romantic partner does not adhere to those standards that you're putting into place, then you're better off existing in those standards with that vibration yourself. Okay? I know that there are some of you who are watching this alone right now thinking, shit, I might have to make a tough decision by the end of the year. And that's okay. And I'm going to help guide you through it in this video. And maybe this is a video that you watch in 3 months from now. Maybe this is something that you need to replay when you need to find that strength again. All right? So, in relationships, both individuals have been awakening, aligning, shifting. Shifting is really the perfect word, okay? If at least one partner is conscious and aware enough, they will support the other partner in their shift. And hopefully in supporting the other partner in their shift, the other partner is in a high enough vibration to then help you in your shift to a higher vibration. It's going to be back and forth until you find that harmony together. And it's always a work in progress, as we know, for the people who are in long-term relationships. This year will either separate you further apart or it will bring you closer together. Straight up. It's only going to do one of two things. Okay. The only thing that is going to determine if you are separated further apart or if you're brought closer together through the shifts, through the challenges, is honestly your communication. So, okay. It's going to be a year, it's going to be a divided year. It's going to be a divided year. It's going to be all about breakups and rebirths. There are two directions for your long-term romantic relationship. There are two directions, all right? The first direction is you create a new relationship together. And this is mostly like if things aren't working, all right? These are two directions if things are not working. If they're working and you're communicating and you're, holding space for each other and all of that is fantastic. Don't touch it, don't fix it if it ain't broke sort of thing. It's good. If you're not in that place, which a lot of you are, then there's two directions. One is you create a new relationship together, all right? Just because it's not working doesn't mean it's never going to work, but there needs to be a change. If you're sitting there right now and this applies to you, you're going to be thinking, yeah, things just simply can't go on the way that they're going. This is not serving anyone, not the kids, not me, not my husband, and so on, all right? So, what do you need to do to move forward together in a new relationship, okay? So when I say new relationship together, it means same people, same players, new relationship, new dynamic, new vibration, all right? It's possible. So how do you shift your current dynamics into a new vibration? First thing is neutralize any old past baggage that either one of you keep getting caught up in. Well, you cheated on me. Yeah, but that was 10 years ago. What else do you need to do within yourself? What else do you need to do within the relationship to feel seen and heard and supported so that that doesn't come up for you anymore, or whatever the situation may be, okay? So the first step to creating a new relationship together is to neutralize any sort of old energetic baggage through communication. And if the communication isn't working, maybe you need to write your partner a letter. Maybe you need to do a cord cutting ceremony. Maybe you need to write in your journal. Maybe you need to take more walks. What else do you need to do to release that energy? A lot of us get stuck in a holding pattern. Yeah, but this is okay. But if I change it, it might get worse. But what about the kids? Well, let's just wait till they're out of high school. There's always going to be an excuse. When are you going to actually start living your life? It's got to be eventually. Okay. Second thing about recreating a new relationship with your same partner is create new standards and stick to them. Create new standards and stick to them. Well, you know what? I am no longer going to allow you to dictate what I wear before I leave the house. I don't know what the issue is, okay? But new standards. What are all the things that make you feel less than? What are all the things that make you feel like you're not being heard or seen or supported? Write those things down and ask yourself, what do you really want in a relationship? And tell your partner, look, this is not cutting it anymore because I deserve this. And if you're not willing to give me this, then this isn't going to work. Create new standards and stick to them. But you have to communicate those standards if you're going to create them and stick to them. If the standards are not aligned with, there needs to be healthy consequences to that. You can't just keep threatening, well, if you're not going to love me the way that I deserve to be loved, if you're not going to appreciate me the way that I deserve to be appreciated, then I'm going to leave. Yeah, sure, you've been saying that for 20 years. Okay? Create healthy boundaries. Create consequences if they are not met, and follow them through for your own sake. It has nothing to do with your partner. Okay? Super, super important. So, the thing that I recommend, and I've dealt with so many romantic relationships with clients in the past. So what I like to say is, don't just give up. Don't just say, okay, well, my consequence is if by September they're not the partner that I deserve, or this relationship hasn't shifted, then I'm giving up and I'm walking away. If you walk away without putting in the effort, without putting in the intention, without really trying or communicating, then you're going to leave a lot of things incomplete. And that's going to be detrimental on both ends. If you give it your all, even though you've tried and you've tried and you've tried for the past 10 years to really have the relationship that you deserve and it hasn't worked, try again. This is it. This is like the last 6 months of the real proof in the pudding of I'm going to give it all I've got. I'm going to plan date nights. I'm going to buy him a new tie. I'm going to, do all the things. I'm going to, buy the sex book and spark it up in the bedroom. I'm going to do all the things. And if I usually say he because this is usually a woman problem, but if they are not willing to meet you half of the way with the effort, then you have your answer. Then by the time September or whenever that date is rolls around, you know for sure. There's not a second guess. There's not a doubt. You've given it your all. You've tried everything, and it's still not working out. So you're going to feel confident in your conviction to walk away. Does that make sense? That's typically what I recommend. I know you've tried and tried and tried, but this is it. Don't just let this keep going on. Yeah, I'm sure it'll change one day. Okay, one more thing I want to mention about this whole direction, all right, is what I've channeled in 2020 with a lot of clients, especially like women who are dealing and struggling with their unawakened husband or whatever, doesn't matter, the gender doesn't matter, but if you're struggling with your partner, what I've channeled, especially for men though, 2021 is meant to be the year of ego deaths, okay? If you're dealing with a stubborn ass male energy in your life, and I have enough of that energy in me to know what's going on, that masculine energy is going to be collapsed, is going to be forced to collapse. If it hasn't already happened in 2020, it's going to be pushed. It's going to be louder than ever before. It's going to be more dramatic than ever before in 2021. What I channeled before is the timeline between this was actually between February and June, I think it was the original timeline, this window of the ego deaths of the males. Now, this is just an average timeline. Like I said, everyone's different, but please keep in mind if you're struggling with someone who is stubborn, unwilling to think outside of the box, unwilling to let go of their attachments and perceptions, they're going to be forced to change. And I recommend that you support them without needing to give them anything, just to be a pillar of support, to support them through it and to see who they are after it. All right, so that's why like the August-September timeline might be a pretty good timeline to keep in mind if you're really struggling. We need to give it all that we've got, but we also need to be clear on, hey, if this still isn't working, I'm walking away. Just chilling in the middle area is not going to serve anyone. You're holding back from so many experiences that you could be having single or with someone else. All right, just saying, don't shoot the messenger. Okay, cool. All right. The other thing too, just one more thing about this One Direction. Within creating new standards, make sure that you create new standards together. Sit your partner down and saying, hey, I'm really struggling with what we've got right now, and I'd like to reformat this. What do you want? This is what I want. What do you want? Opening that communication, manifesting a new standard together is huge, okay? That's huge. All right. The second direction for long-term relationships that have been struggling is the separation, okay? So separation for the better is really what it is. And I did kind of talk about that, things that I wrote down here, tried everything, setting clear standards, this is what I want, and then a clear consequence or else, okay? Sometimes I even recommend telling your husband or your partner to say, look, this clearly isn't working for either one of us. I'm going to give it all that I've got for the next 6 months. And if by September it's still not aligned and we're still not happy in this moment, that's it. If you tell them that timeline, both of you can shift and really show up as much as possible before that timeline comes in. If you've just got this secret timeline and you're like testing them the whole time, it's not a very authentic, open, and communicative way to go about trying for the very last time in the relationship, all right? So I suggest, if it feels right and aligned to you, that you let your partner in on where you're at and how serious you are in the present moment, all right? Like I said, there's some of you who are saying, oh, me and my partner are good, none of this applies, or I'm single, this doesn't apply. And there's some of you who are sitting there at home sweating, thinking, shit, I'm really gonna have to change. I know all of this and I just have to apply it. And I get that feeling. I felt the exact same way when I realized my ex was not aligned to me, and I had to change everything that I thought I knew and loved, and I wasn't happy. So it's a tough realization to make that you're not happy, but then you can start unfolding your reality and refolding it, realigning it to really truly be happy, because you deserve that. No one deserves to be in limbo. No one. No one deserves to settle for anything. All right? Okay, cool. One more point. Stop making excuses or living with obligation. Just stop it. All right. So for all of the people who are in long-term relationships who are struggling, I do have an affirmation for you as well. Here it is. I am ready to live my best life within my relationship. Pretty straight up. But anything within the relationship that isn't aligning to live your best life or helping you to live your best life will shift out of focus or shift into focus so that you can neutralize and release it. So once again, I am ready to live my best life within my relationship, whatever that means. Actually, this is a perfect topic for Valentine's Day. I probably should have done this on Valentine's Day, but hey, this works. All right. I want to finish this live video off with the love languages. Whether you're single or you're in a relationship, whether the relationship is working or not, the love languages are truly a language that surpasses really anything else. So if you don't know them off by heart, I highly recommend that you write down the different love languages that I'm about to say. I don't know who the original author is. If what I talk about resonates with you, I recommend go getting the book. I have never read the book. I just remember I had a huge aha moment years ago when someone told me the 5 different love languages, and I had this breakthrough. Although you may be extremely familiar with the love languages, I'm going to present a different way of interpreting them. Something that because I haven't read the book, I'm not sure if the book mentions this, but I haven't heard anyone else talk about it in this way. And please correct me if I'm wrong. So what I think the book says is everyone has different love languages that they work with. And there's only ever one way that they talk about the love languages. So before I get into the complexity of this, I just want to mention the 5 love languages. All right, first one, acts of service. Second one, gift giving. Third one, physical touch. Fourth, communication. And fifth, quality time. They all pretty much speak for themselves, so I won't define. But I'm pretty sure I've only ever heard people talk about the love languages in one direction, which means that if my love languages were quality time and gift giving, how does the book define that? Does that mean that I want to give quality time and gift giving? Or does that mean that that's what I look at receiving? We really truly need to separate the love languages in 2 very different and distinct ways. And I promise you that you will understand your romantic relationship, yourself, and if you're single, the people that you're dating way more when having this open conversation. So when I started thinking about it, I'm like, so my love languages are gift giving for sure, and acts of service. And I guess physical touch as well. I'm very touchy-feely Molly. So that's what I give. Those are the love languages that I give. But what I like to receive is different. I love receiving acts of service, and I love receiving quality time. And same thing with Nat. What she tends to give is not necessarily what she wants to receive. I don't know if the actual love languages books, do they actually talk about the giving versus receiving and how that can be very different? There's a huge distinction there. Because if you love gift giving, but you don't really care about giving gifts back, then things are going to be a little bit skewed. So say, for example, you give your love, you show your love through quality time, but your partner needs communication. They're going to say, well, you don't love me. And I'm going to say, well, what do you mean? I've spent all of this time with you. And they said, but you haven't told me that you love me all day. So all of a sudden, the communication of love is very different. All right. So I recommend if you are in a relationship or even if you're dating, you should talk to your partner or even the person that you're dating about what is your love language? What do you like to give? And what do you like to receive? And if they're not aware of it, maybe you should let them in on it. Maybe you should have that open conversation. Maybe you should read the book if you're not aware of it and understand, where do I fit in with my own love languages, and what do I feel good about receiving within the love languages? Because typically it's very different. Oh, they do. Oh, perfect. Oh, good. Yeah, so just kind of be aware of the giving versus receiving and the love languages associated with that. And last but not least, thank you all so much for being here. I hope that this really helped you. If you're single, if you're in a relationship, maybe you're in a really loving and beautiful and amazing relationship like where I'm at. It's just really good to think about and reflect on your current life and your current humanness and the human that you've chosen to be with at this point in time. All right. Love you all so much. Make sure you share this video. This is going to be a perfect video to share because everyone needs to hear this, especially your single friends or especially your friends and family members who are struggling within their own relationships. Give this video a thumbs up if you really liked it. Be sure to subscribe to the channel as always. And I'm super pumped to see all of you at the Galactic Federation live event that is happening this Thursday at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So check that out. I'm so excited to connect with my galactic friends again and see what they have to say about this freaking crazy time that we're in. And if you're a member, be sure to go to the community section in YouTube and check out the ticket for the live coaching event that's happening this Friday, the 12th. So check that out. That's a free event for all members. And moving forward, we're going to have a lot more of those. So love you all so, so much. And I will see you on Thursday or Friday. If not, I will see you on Sunday. Bye for now.